This episode of The Patch is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron sends gourmet recipes and all the fresh ingredients you need to make them right to your door. To see what's on the menu this week, visit blueapron.com. Our listeners get their first 2 meals free. Just go to blueapron.com/thepatch. That's blueapron.com/thepatch. This show is sponsored by NatureBox. Order great tasting, healthy snacks right to your door. Forget the vending machine and get in shape for summer with healthy, delicious treats like everything bagel sticks. Support this podcast and get 50% off your first month. Go to naturebox.com/thepatch. That's naturebox.com/thepatch. How's it going? Welcome to The Patch.
The Patch.
This is my first patch like in 3 weeks.
What? Whoa, you had the panel. Doesn't that kind of count?
That kind of counts.
Is that panel's going up anywhere? I keep getting questions about it, and I keep just like ignoring them because I don't know.
I don't know. We'll talk to Patrick. We'll see if it's going to go up somewhere or live on after the fact.
I mostly liked that panel because we got to give Ryan a whole bunch of shit for getting all down on games that he's never actually played.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what I do. I professionally don't know things about games. But I would like to say I found my pillow. So now my butt is as comfortable as your butts.
And I have half the pillow.
Apparently, Ashley was double pillowing, so her butt was twice as comfortable.
I'm really short. I need all the pillows I can get.
Mm-hmm. It's all about height and appearances on the set.
Yeah, the more pillows I have, the more people think I'm tall. That way everyone's really surprised when
Maybe
I'm
we
short.
should just crouch.
I'll just slouch.
Well, it doesn't help if you do it.
Oh.
Why does Clayton get mad when we
God,
slouch?
they're all mad because we're ducking out of our shots.
Oh, it's Kara?
Kara's going to kill us.
All right, so The Patch, our weekly... I was going to say game show. Our weekly podcast about video games. It is, I guess it is a game show.
It's the right word. It's just in the wrong order.
It is kind of a game show.
Yeah,
It's
show
a
about
show
games. Game showing show.
Show game.
So I'm going to kick things off.
Kick it.
Homie.
Hearthstone, I guess, has said that their first DLC, or Blizzard has said their first DLC for Hearthstone is coming out this month. And it's the curse of
$25, right?
$25, depending on how you purchase it. It's the Curse of Naxxramas, which
like
famously
pay in money or blood. What do you mean, depending on how you purchase it?
Less wings. If you buy, we have a breakdown here if you're watching the video right now.
Less wings. Okay.
There's 5 wings total, and then if you only buy, you can buy it in pieces if you want. So if you don't want to buy the whole thing, you just buy a little bit.
Do wings equal flags? I mean, cards.
I think it's wings of a building, right? Like
Right. So
Naxxramas
was a floating raid dungeon in World of Warcraft.
I see.
And
okay.
to clear it, you had to go through all of the different wings, and they're trying to recreate that.
Okay. See, I was hearing wings in a very different sense, like fairy wings or something. Like,
Yeah.
oh, if you buy fewer fairy wings, then it costs less.
It threw me for a loop there first. Too.
Yeah. I would like games to start charging in fairy wings, though.
I was waiting. It looked like you were going to say something.
I thought
right.
I had something, and then I didn't. I was thinking about clapping and Tinkerbell and renewable resources and
that
money,
getting anywhere?
and it all just fell apart. I got nothing. Sorry.
So
I agree. Fairy wings would be a great currency. Good suggestion, Ashley. Just cut from that last part to this part, and it'll all make sense.
So apparently, the first quarter, which is the Arachnid quarter, will be free to play during the launch event, which is the first month that it's out. Then after that, each of the remaining 4 wings cost $7 each. Or you can pay $20 for the final 4. Or if you miss the launch event, you pay $25 for all 5 wings. So you see, that's what I mean, that there's variable pricing.
Have I missed something? I kind of thought Hearthstone was a card game.
Yeah.
Is this just like new places to play,
There's
or
gonna be-
is this a series of? Do you go through a series of card-based matches, and this is like a
series
dungeon
of bosses.
instance?
Right.
Okay.
So
it's
try
like-
to recreate an instance, and you have to fight bosses.
But if the game
Okay.
itself is free to play, how do you get away with charging $25 for one dungeon?
It's 5 wings, though,
Well, I mean,
Does that mean 5 dungeons?
essentially.
World of Warcraft is now free to play to a certain extent, and then you pay to
that's
get
like
further.
level 20, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of game that you can play before the pay gate.
Yeah, and you don't have to play this. I mean, in the end, all you get is essentially loot.
Yeah,
more
it just-
cards or...
Yeah, I guess I'm just thrown off a little bit by just like free for a full game, but then 25 for an expansion. I would have almost expected just a whole bunch of much smaller expansions or new card packs, that kind of thing, to be the norm there.
And they do also the card pack transaction as well. This is an interesting experiment. I'm excited about it. I like Hearthstone a lot. And Naxxramas was one of my favorite raids in World of Warcraft, so I'm excited to revisit it.
So it's basically a single player to the card game, right? Is that what I mean? The direction of this, you fight your way through a
Yes.
you versus CPU
Correct.
version of this. Does it add anything to multiplayer?
I think the only thing it adds to multiplayer is the drops. So you get cards and bonuses for completing the raid that you can then use in single player.
Twitter tells us the hourglass, and everyone says that
You
Ryan
guys hate that.
Ryan and Gus, everyone's very disappointed in you. But
Hey,
not in
I'm
me,
out of
'cause-
practice. I've been gone a couple of weeks. I'm just like trying to get back into the live
I
stream
was
thing.
mesmerized by this Achievement Hunter mug. Now sorry.
God. Be more obvious with your product placement, why don't you?
Now I'm sad I don't have anything to sell. Hey,
Topo
you-
Chico.
Topo Chico.
So wet your whistle with clean, refreshing Topo Chico.
So
Not sponsoring this podcast.
In other mobile game news, at RTX, Certain Affinity announced that they released their Age of Booty Tactics, which is the mobile version of Age of Booty, and it has Rooster Teeth personalities in it.
It does.
I don't know if you got a chance to play the
I
gameplay.
I wouldn't
RTX.
call you a personality, Gus.
Well, it doesn't have me yet, but it does have Gavin so far. And Age of Booty was an Xbox Live title, I think from back in like 2008. I think Achievement Hunter did. I think Jeff did Achievement Hunter videos for it way back in the day when it came out.
pre-me, so I don't know.
And the game, it's a free iOS game, and if you want, you can pay like $1.99 to get Gavin and Rooster Teeth inspired ships and curses.
And you get to say Age of Booty.
Tell me more about the curses, because I saw that you can have ships and curses, but it's like supposed to be like,
Curses?
I'm so British.
No,
I'm trying to be like a British pirate, and it's not working very well.
I'm so British.
Well, you did say that Gavin's the only one out, so his might be like, bring me a crumpet.
It's
that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, solid.
or walk the plank into the T.
Yeah, no.
The big T.
Into the T.
the curses are essentially like attacks or even like magic spells, like that you can use
those
against other
kinds of
ships.
curses.
Yeah.
I was
Not
I
like
was,
bad words.
Okay, well that's a shame. That's really a shame.
But it's out now, and if you have an iOS device, it's free. Go check it out. I've played a few
Get
games
your booty on.
since it came out, and I think I'm going to be the next captain. And there's voting going on right now. I made a journal entry about it on roosterteeth.com. So if you want to vote for my captain name, I guess you can go take a look at that. We'll put it in the patch notes.
Whenever I have a pirate in a game, I cannot help but call them Yargile.
Yargile.
Yes.
Yargile.
And they always like socks.
Are they? Yeah, do they have like tartan patterns on them?
If I could make that work, that would be great.
Seems like sweaters would be really hot for a pirate, though.
Well, only tropical pirates. What are you going to do about Norwegian pirates?
Hey, I
didn't
think they
realize
call
they were-
those Vikings.
Still,
Excellent point. I never thought of it that way.
still pirates. Just putting that out there.
Fair
Just
enough.
with more, 100% more horned helmets.
Man, you all are out of practice of having Gus on here. You all
Yeah,
are just
talking
Tangent
and-
City.
yeah.
Not at all related to video games.
No, we were apparently we were
We were
great.
talking about
we were,
an
like, on
iOS game
topic.
called Age of Booty Tactics. I
Which
don't know what
involves
you're
Vikings
talking
and
about.
Argyle, apparently.
It could.
Well, why doesn't it? There you go, Age of Booty. There's your next DLC. Vikings and
Vikings
Argyle.
and Argyle. That's what they can call it.
Oh, here's sorry, going back to the Hearthstone thing, someone just pointed out that you can buy the Nax Wings with gold that's earned in game, so it can still be free
Yes.
to play. That makes a
Oh,
lot
that's
more
cool.
sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's 700 gold, I think is
Thank
the
you,
the amount.
Aaron Kinnear. You're the best.
In other news, Cliff Bleszinski announced he's coming out of retirement.
to make
His-
free to play MOBAs.
Is what? How long was this retirement? Like
was
less than a year?
It was
No,
like
it
2
was
years, wasn't it? Or
2?
2.5?
It was two. I think he left in 2012.
Okay.
21-month absence.
Wow.
So almost 2 years.
Cool.
So he's don't patronize me. He's partnering with Nexon America to create a PC arena shooter.
What has Nexon made previously?
Nexon, I believe, is most well known for like MapleStory.
Okay,
I don't think
that's cool.
they're known for a lot of huge titles in the U.S., but I believe they're a pretty big publisher in Asia.
So now we're gonna take MapleStory, and then we're gonna add chainsaw guns.
Yes. So
All right, you're selling me. I gotta admit,
and they're
I'm
gonna
intrigued.
kiss.
So it's a free-to-play sci-fi.
Kiss.
It's a free-to-play sci-fi FPS that will offer a new take on an old favorite.
What does that mean?
I have no idea what that means.
Means they're reinventing the wheel.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, translator Ryan.
You're welcome. Now with 50% more sides.
So, and his new studio is called Boss Key, and I think the game is codenamed Blue Streak.
Yes.
Yes. So that's
Which I'm really glad that they're not called Brown Streak.
That was a look. If you were listening to this, I hope that the silence that followed really carried the look on Gus's face.
Brown Streak. So I'm excited about that. Cliff Bleszinski was at Epic for many years and is known for the Gears of War franchise and working quite a bit on Unreal Tournament. So I'm curious to see what his next game is.
I did love Unreal Tournament.
Interesting timing considering Black Tusk just recently announced that they're working on the next Gears of War game. And in fact, I think Steptoe's over there working on community relations for Black Tusk.
So Stephen Toulouse, who he was with Xbox for a very long time as their director of enforcement. He was essentially the banhammer.
Enforcement?
Well, he was like the banhammer.
I want that title.
And,
do we have one of those?
Just put on your business card.
I don't have any.
There you go.
I know.
Order some business cards and put banhammer on it.
Will do.
Ryan the banhammer.
Well, no, I want the Order of Enforcer or whatever it was.
Yeah, we now have an
Keeper
actual
of the Iron
banhammer.
Fist.
Someone brought Bernie a banhammer at RTX.
Was that the thing you were swinging around at one point?
Oh, yeah.
I heard a loud crash and looked over and fucking Gus is wielding giant
the
iron
shit
hammer
out of Barbara. I was really tired.
We're pretty sure you destroyed a table,
at the end
too.
of the event. It didn't. And so I just tried to destroy that table with that hammer, and it did not.
There it is.
Oh, here comes the banhammer.
For those of you that can't see, it's a giant metal hammer.
Bernie,
you can hear it going clink on his ring. It's seriously made out of something
What do
very
you think?
strong.
This probably weighs like 25 pounds, you
I
think?
don't know. Let me see.
well, not it actually.
Oh,
it
should've
must
given me
not
that.
because
That was a mistake.
Someone,
this is mine now.
Bernie was talking to someone and they took it and they felt it and they hefted it a little bit and they said, inaccurate. It's supposed to be 27 pounds.
I would like to point out that it reads.
So apparently it's not 27 pounds.
Okay.
The hammer reads, "Whomsoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor." Even Gavin.
I like how you used your daddy voice for that.
Anyway, bringing this back on subject so that Gus doesn't get all upset at us.
Thor's a subject.
Steven
It's a Thor subject.
he left Microsoft a while ago.
God damn it.
Barbara! He left Microsoft a while back, and he's worked on a couple of different projects, and now he's at Black Tusk as their director of community.
Yes.
And I do remember that when Black Tusk announced they were working on a new Gears of War, Cliff Bleszinski did come out and basically say, "I'm not remotely involved in this." He did have to, but they did get was it Gears Viking?
Oh, they got
Who I'm sure wears a horned helmet.
Bringing it back
don't
to
tell me the
Vikings.
Vikings don't wear horned helmets and ruin my dreams.
They also announced, I think it was also news this week, that the voice actor who plays Cole in Gears of War said on Twitter that he's going back into the studio to record more Gears of War dialogue.
Oh, that's great.
Which could potentially means that we may get some more
Spoilers.
Coltrane in
Hey,
the
I always
next...
liked Cole. Cole's a good character.
Yeah.
I gotta ask though, does that mean anything to you? That okay, Cliffy B's coming back. Does that tell you anything about this game or what the project is? Do you feel more confident because he's attached? What does that mean?
We don't know
to
anything
you?
about it. I will say that
That's
he has
true.
a good track record.
Okay.
He was a fantastic level designer on Unreal Tournament. Gears of War was obviously very successful, even if it wasn't aimed at people like me who go, "Ee," when we see lots of like curb stomping, essentially.
Gore, chainsaw swords,
even though
or
it's
chainsaw
really,
guns.
really fun to do at least once. But he does have a very good track record with games, so it lends confidence, and that's really all they have to go on right now, since they haven't said anything about what the game's about, except that it's a new take on an old favorite,
And a
that it's a
sci-fi
free-to-play
FPS.
FPS arena game.
Yes.
Well, I kind of wonder if it gets to the point where it's just they're going to throw money at someone like that to get their name on board. Because now, again, we're talking about this game and know nothing about it other than he's attached to it.
Right, so it's like stunt casting.
Yeah.
Well, it could be like also, when you're hyping a movie, when you get excited about a director, like, oh, Steven Spielberg's making another movie.
We got Tom Cruise. Hey, we got Tom Cruise. Don't know what it's about, but Tom Cruise
Be like,
is in it. So
but I really like his work, therefore
Yeah.
it'll be good.
But yeah. I guess I didn't mean to do this, but apparently a lot of my notes are in order of easy segue.
Well.
Speaking of Epic, I guess there's
Hey.
a Fortnite gameplay trailer that was released the other day. I don't know if you had a chance to,
There was,
to check it
yeah.
out.
I do like also that they release them every couple of months just to say, still making it. We haven't gone the way of The Last Guardian.
Well,
and just like disappeared so no one knows what's going on.
The Last Guardian, you haven't seen shit for years. This one's at least like gameplay you can see. I think the game, I think they said, is still like in the pre-alpha stage. And
Yeah,
you can
this
see,
game looks really fun. I hope that it gets finished someday because I really want to play it.
Yeah, let me take a look here and see exactly what they said with it. But so it involved friends working together to create forts. It's supposed to be released in 2015.
it's like a crafting horde mode sort of game.
Right, so
seems
this
like
is the
it.
one where you take the daytime, you make your fort, you build all this awesome stuff, and you build your traps and do all that cool stuff, and then the night comes and the zombies come, and you see how well you fare.
Right.
And I like that. That's a lot of fun.
It seems like a really clever idea. It's kind of odd that it's taken such a long time to have it happen.
Yeah, I think it was originally announced in 2011.
Yeah.
So it's been...
And it seemed like a really cool idea in 2011. And then nothing.
Well, it's been 3 years, but if it does come out in 2015, we'll have waited 4 years for it.
Yeah.
You can actually still go and sign up for their alpha on their site, though they're not really talking about adding people to the alpha until 2015. On there, though,
Wait, alpha in 2015?
It said they were talking about letting more people into the alpha in 2015.
Okay.
That's terrifying.
Well, and the other thing is there's a survey questionnaire that comes with the sign up, and it goes really in depth into the how do you feel about free to play games? Have you made in-game transactions? So it looks like they might actually be kind of aiming to make it a free to play microtransaction type game. I mean, just based on the survey, like that doesn't necessarily tell you anything. They could just be going for general research.
Interesting.
Yeah, and was it Project Spark also announced that they're finally going to have their official release date, which is in October?
It is in October.
I
just navigated away from it.
But it's one of those weird things where I consider Project Spark to be out.
Really?
I do, because
well, I guess they are selling things.
It's the open beta, and you can. I'm not sure what they've done with the microtransactions, but they were implemented, so you can be putting money into it even if it's in beta form. So it's almost like one of those games where out is just like
October 7th.
October 7th. But will that really change anything, or is it just like flipping the switch and going, yeah?
I mean, when we saw the story was going to come up, I jumped into the beta access that I have just to run around in it some more and see what people had done with it. And I mean, there's definitely people playing it.
Project Spark. There's people playing it.
There's some people playing it. My early initial reactions to it, though, were that some of the things I downloaded and played that people had created were creative, but they weren't running great. Like, it was a little slow and laggy and
Do you do this on a PC, I take it?
No, Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is cool, though, that anything that if you're working on a project on the Xbox One, you can save it and then go start working on PC.
Mm-hmm.
But only if you're running Windows 8.1.
Yes.
Oh.
Which added a thing.
Well, now.
To make it run.
It added a thing.
But JD, Bernie's oldest, he's been using it in like building villages and towns and games and stuff, and we love it for that reason, because it's this creative, awesome building tool. And I also saw that someone recreated the entire first mission of Fable in it, and then you get all these other game types where people are making side scrollers and racing games and all this cool stuff. So I don't know the first thing about what I'm doing in it, but people are making things and they're really cool.
Yeah, I've played, someone's been recreating like a Zelda type world, or Legend of Zelda type world, where you go and there's villages and you got to go to Death Mountain and collect stuff and run quests for villagers. It's like, wow, it's a pretty robust creation tool.
That's great. And it's got to be a really good sort of learning tool for people who want to learn how to make games, because it's so high level. But when you do go into a person, you can give them, you give them logic and you say in conditionals so that they know how to react to different situations. It's,
those conditional
it's simple,
statements can get deep.
They get, it's very well presented. It doesn't look like, oh, well, here we start making an if-then statement or, looping all this sort of stuff.
What's wrong with if-then statements?
They're great. They're just terrifying.
You a conditional racist?
Conditionist.
But when you get into it, it is actually all the logic that someone would need to develop in order to program a game at a lower, more hands-on, intricate level.
I will say that when I played it and had the just issues with speed, it was a while back. It was several weeks ago. So hopefully by now they've kind of gotten that all ironed out. And it's still a beta, so that
been on for a while. Yeah.
Doesn't really necessarily mean anything about the final product. And the other part of that is whenever you open a system like that to anybody to create whatever they want, you never know what kind of QA that gets. So it's a sort of exactly, it's crowdsourced QA. So sometimes you get a version of it that doesn't probably work very well yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this.
Okay.
To remind everyone, this episode of The Patch is brought to you by things falling in the control room. I want to remind everyone, this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Blue Apron. Cooking and eating should be enjoyable, but if you're busy or health conscious or just don't know your way around the kitchen, it can be stressful. Ordering out is expensive and gets unhealthy fast. Cooking's a pain too. Finding and coming up with recipes, shopping for ingredients, dealing with leftover produce that goes to waste. Forget about it. You need Blue Apron to take the stress out of cooking. Here's how it works. For $9.99 a meal, they'll send you the right ingredients in the exact right proportions with simple recipe instructions right to your door. Meals are 500 to 700 calories per serving, way too low for how delicious they are. Blue Apron includes step-by-step instructions with pictures. It's idiot-proof. We'll find out about that. They work around your schedule and your dietary preferences. Cooking takes about half an hour, and shipping is always free. You'll make meals like short rib burgers on pretzel buns, Kung Pao chicken tacos, and more.
Kung Pao chicken tacos?
You'll cook incredible meals and be blown away by the quality and freshness.
Fusion.
Blue Apron, fast, fresh, and affordable. End the stress of cooking right now. Go to blueapron.com/thepatch. Get your first 2 meals for free. That's 2 meals for free just for going to blueapron.com/thepatch. I love living in the future.
So is this like how to impress a girl with your cooking for bachelors?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Whomsoever controls this service will cook with the ability of Julia Child.
Stop
even
it, Thor.
Yeah, so it's just like they ship you exactly what you need. They give you pictures on how to make it, and then you make it.
That's great.
Instructables.
Yeah, and then you try it free, 2 meals for free. Why not? Give it a shot. I'm going to try it. So, man, I don't know. Well, we were just talking about Project Spark, right? Mm-hmm. So at RTX this past week, and you already mentioned that Certain Affinity was there, showing off Age of Booty. Titanfall was also there.
Yep.
Showing off Titanfall stuff. And then they just announced
Titanfall stuff.
They just announced new DLC for Titanfall on yesterday, on Tuesday.
Frontiers
3 new maps, right?
Mm-hmm. 3 new maps.
Yeah,
they don't
Edge.
have a release date yet,
No,
I don't
not
believe. In fact, that's pretty much all I know right now is that it's 3 new maps on the edge of the frontier.
Yeah, Dig Site, Export, and Haven are what they're called.
I liked the last maps they released. They're very cool, and I like the range they've got going on creatively. You can have swamps, you can have all that stuff, and you can have these super industrial sort of areas. So this is going to be a lot of fun, too. I hope that you can have an Old West shootout in your mechs.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. No, the only thing is I hope they don't do what they did with the last one, which originally when they came out, there were no achievements tied to the DLC. But then later on, they shoehorned in some. And they
Really? I didn't think you could do that.
They seemed to say they weren't going to do that, and then they absolutely did that. And the new achievements were like, kill 100 pilots in this map. So there's a bunch of them that are just really lame that force you to play those DLC maps over and over and over and over again. And they're good maps, but they don't hold up to just staying in that playlist.
Well, I mean,
constantly.
if you have a task like that, also, you just get burned out. It's like my only goal is to kill 100 pilots.
Well, not only that, but you can't pick the map, so
Right.
you just have to play through the list over and over and over again. Hope you get to that map, and then when you get to that map, hope you get some kills.
Well, speaking from a business standpoint, that sounds like exactly why they did it. Is they go, oh, that more people will play this playlist and they'll get it. And
There
look,
you got
they're
your
just
money.
They're incentivized to play. That's the big word. That's the buzzword. They're incentivized to play more in that list. And every map they play, they're working towards it slowly. Here's the thing: no one wants to work towards anything slowly.
No.
So from a consumer standpoint, me.
Don't do that again, Respawn. We're watching.
So the season pass for Titanfall DLC is $25, but this one, if you buy it on its own, is $10. I think the $25 gets you 3 DLC updates.
They've committed to 3.
And this is going to be the second one.
Yeah, this is the second one.
Still no new mechs, though. And I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not, but it seems like something people would like is one new chassis.
They said earlier that it was very unlikely. Mm-hmm. They said initially they were only going to have 1 mech, and they didn't add any additional ones until they could be sure that one was balanced perfectly, and that every time you add one more, and this makes a lot of sense just from any game design standpoint, the more classes you add, the more difficult it is to balance them all against one another. So they said not to get your hopes up about new mechs, but at the same time, it would be nice to see at least one.
That's a fair point. I mean, the 3 that they've got now do have a really good balance between them. That being said,
except for the Strider.
Well, no, I like the Strider.
Fuck that. I love it too because they're so easy to blow up.
Nah, it's because you've been playing people who don't know how to use it. They're great for Last Titan Standing. You just get the plasma railgun and you just stay on the edges. It's all about strategically staying out of the way with that mech. Striking from the edge and just moving out of the way.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess I have yet to see anyone truly effectively use it.
Tactical, man. It's tactical.
They blow up real pretty.
Well, they're not a one-on-one mech. You don't want to throw down with somebody directly. Mm-hmm. They're a sneak up behind you kind of mech.
Yeah, I like using the ogre, and it's just like, destroy, beat you to death with your own arm. So who else was at RTX? We also had 343 there.
Yep.
Who had a panel where they actually announced some things. They announced Coagulation's coming back for the Halo 2 anniversary as part of Halo Master Chief Collection.
Bernie's happy.
Bernie Burns,
In
everybody.
other news, Bernie scared the shit out of me because I didn't know he was sitting right over there.
In other news, Bernie's now a woo girl.
And they also announced a new vehicle, the Gun Goose, which is a mongoose that's outfitted with a fuck ton of guns on it. And that's all going to be part of the Master Chief Collection, which is coming out later this year. There it is.
There's a picture of it.
The Gun Goose.
So if you ever wondered what a fuck ton looks like, it's that.
It's right there.
No more than that.
Just that.
Is that a metric fuck ton?
No,
Ooh, that's a good question.
This is the future.
Could be English.
Oh.
4 stones of fuck ton.
4 fuck stones?
There you go.
Fuck 4 stones.
That sounds like a really bad night.
Yeah. Then what else do we have out there? We
They
also
showed
had-
Ascensions.
Or a VD.
Oh, they did show Ascension. That looked beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Like looking off to the
So
side.
beautiful.
Yeah, seeing the skybox. It was really, really great looking. We also had Insomniac out there who showed off, I guess, 8 minutes of Sunset Overdrive that they had not previously shown to the public.
World
They'd shown a
premiere.
little bit of what was at E3, like the Herker, which is up on the screen now. They showed, I think, at E3, but what they did show at RTX that has never been seen before is like the intro cinematics and all
Right.
that sort of stuff. And they showed, oh my god, this game looks so fun, by the way. Just there's an Easter egg that they told us about in here. That's in this level you're playing through obviously an amusement park, and in a nice little nod to Arrested Development, there is a banana stand.
Is there money in it?
There is money in it, and it is on fire.
Nice. Yeah, I got to play it very briefly, but while they were setting up and we were doing our tech demos for Center Stage,
How'd it feel?
and it was fun. You know, it's a very fluid game. You know, it's the kind of game you have to keep moving. You can't stop.
It reminds me that just watching it being played, it's like if you were to take Borderlands and mix it with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, it's
Like grind, shoot.
it's interesting that it's like you at first, you know, you pick up the controller and your first inclination to like, you know, look down the sights and aim. It's like, no, you don't really have to aim. Just kind of throw some destruction in that area and just keep moving and you're fine. You like don't sweat the details.
Yeah, I love how colorful it is. Also, I'm really looking forward to rail grinding on a roller coaster. I would play an entire game just to get to that part.
Just
Yeah.
to ride around on the roller coaster on foot.
Yeah, and be able to jump between the tracks. I mean, I don't know if who saw the Travel Channel special the Rooster Teeth did with the Iron Rattler, but it'd be great to just like go on that like Sans car. I don't need that. Do some loop-de-loops.
Extreme.
It makes me think I saw a video the other day of a guy who had a pallet that he outfitted with little wheels on the bottom of it.
I saw that.
And he rode around on like rail tracks in the city, like where your city rail would go.
Why?
'Cause why not?
He looked
Because you
really
could get
comfortable.
hit by a train.
He looked really comfortable on
he also
that.
looked really cool.
He did. He was going down, and people would stop to look at him and go, "That dude's really cool."
That's like a news story waiting to happen. Local kid riding around on train. Now
Luckily-
all
Riding
over a
around on
track.
pallet.
I'm pretty sure it was foreign. He was foreign, so that kind of thing probably happens all the time. In fact, he was.
You know those foreigners and pallets?
In
Get
fact,
outta
he
here.
probably just ended up in some like either on the European pallet rail autobahn or
that a thing?
in a pallet traffic jam.
Sure, why not?
Get on it, Europe.
Also at RTX, sorry, I'm going to pivot here.
Yeah.
Also at
Pivot.
RTX,
Sweet
Trials Fusion showed off their new DLC.
And also showed off Jack's slapping ability.
Also showed off. Was
Wow.
that during the Trials Fusion?
It was during
I'm pretty
Trials
sure that was
Fusion, yeah.
Trials Fusion.
And
For those of you who didn't see it, Jack slapped Gavin so hard he fell to the ground. With reason. I mean, there was a thing, it was a game, you spun the wheel, it
Yeah.
happened to be slap, and he slapped him, and Gavin went down like.
yeah, they played some user-generated tracks and then the new DLC. I got to meet the creative director over at Red Links before the demonstration on stage, and he handed me his business card. His business card is a coin with the Red Links logo on it, and then his name and email address around the edges.
That's
It's the
cool and
coolest
also sounds very
business
expensive.
card ever.
Yes.
He handed it to me. He's like, "Oh, here, can you get in touch with me?" I said, "I don't even want to give you my card now." It's like I'm just embarrassed of my business card after seeing this.
He's giving you not only a business card, but change with which to make the call.
Yeah, but then you put the change in, you're like, "Oh fuck, what's the
You're like,
number?"
what was the number again?
Yeah.
You dialed
Yeah,
in,
then
put
you're in
it
big trouble.
Yeah.
Can you do that? You can do that.
No, actually, you can. Well,
Really?
if you can find a payphone. When's the last time you saw one of those?
I see them around every now and again, but they
They're all
never.
broken.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I don't know the
phone's
last
missing.
time I've seen a functioning payphone.
Covered in urine.
Wasn't there a city that was working on converting old payphone locations into Wi-Fi hotspots? I think I read a story
That's
about
smart.
that. Yeah, where they were just ripping out the phone guts and just making it like a location for Wi-Fi. That way you can
Like
repurpose
municipal Wi-Fi.
Right, for a citywide Wi-Fi.
Though the other ones usually have credit card slots on them.
Slightly less funny if they're in the bays, though, and you just have a whole bunch of people standing in bays going,
Yeah, the signal's only good for a foot and a half. You have to just cram yourself in there.
The more you pay, the further your signal gets boosted. In other news,
Twitter's telling us that the jack slapping was actually during Age of Booty.
That's what I thought.
That was Age of Booty?
It was Age of Booty.
I apologize, Internet. I was wrong.
Exactly. I remember seeing
but the point is, Jack slapped Gavin and it was funny.
Yes.
The wheel
Let's
was
focus on the positive.
The wheel was at the certain Affinity booth, I was pretty sure.
Okay.
I was
there's one
fairly
other...
certain.
It's not a really new release thing, but Destiny was also at RTX.
Oh, right. Yeah. Destiny was there. They showed off some PvP, 6v6, and
I got to play.
they were donating money to Make-A-Wish, I believe, for every game, either in Bungie's name or in the other captain's name.
Right.
So you got to play some?
I got to play, and honestly, I initially was a little bit more hesitant about Destiny, having seen some of the earlier stuff, and then they had that public alpha a while back, but it's come a long way since the last time I saw it. It felt really good.
It plays great, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they definitely looked. My earlier problems, their thoughts about it were that it looked like there was missing detail to a lot of the world. It looked great. Like they definitely have added more textures. It looks much more refined. I'm looking forward to it. It felt good as a PvP game.
Yeah, so the modes we were playing were 6v6, and we played through a variety of maps. And they showed off, some of the maps had vehicles. They showed off a little more of the vehicular combat, which I hadn't really seen too much of previously.
Also, they kept the green thumb configuration in the controller.
Really Are you agree?
I'm a green
Did you
thumb,
do that?
yeah.
You were ruining the controller for the next person who came up to play after you?
Sucks for them. No, I just revolutionized their world. Also, it was the last game, so.
Oh, okay.
What you should really do is just like walk up and set every controller on the claw and then just watch people.
Go and set them all to inverted before, and like the other team.
You're a monster.
I got to be on stage as a captain helping people along, and I played a little bit. So every time we had new people up, I was like, okay, change your inversion settings now. This is where it is. Make sure the control's how you want. This is the default look sensitivity. This is higher. This is lower. And I was like, do it now. That way we can get our asses kicked more efficiently. The bunch of guys do not let up. I played one game. It was me and 5 guys against the Bungie team, and Bungie was a little ahead of us. My team started catching up, and we got pretty even. And I thought, oh, they're just letting us catch up. They're like kind of rope-a-doping us. But then they pulled ahead and won. And then I asked them after the game, I was like, still, were you did you ease up on us? Did you let us catch up? They're like, we don't know how to do that. We just go for the kill.
My dial only sticks at 11.
Yeah. So I felt good that we at least got a little bit close. But yeah, so it was a great event. We had a ton of big games. We had a ton of other smaller independent developers too, like Certain Affinity. Devolver was there, who's a publisher, and they were showing off a bunch of stuff. I think they had Hotline Miami 2, the Talos Principle, a whole bunch of other stuff.
They've been a long time RTX exhibitor too, haven't they?
Mm-hmm. Iron Galaxy was there, showing off Dive Kick Edition, some Killer Instinct stuff. Which is pretty cool.
We walked in the show floor the night before and saw the big Contagion banner hanging from the roof. And Bernie immediately got so happy because he didn't know it was going to be there.
And the Behemoth was there. They had the cupcake.
Oh my God, the cupcake was so
number
cute.
4. Yeah. They called it a life-sized cupcake. That cupcake, that was... I want to live in that world where that's a life-sized cupcake.
Like a life-size living cupcake?
I think they mean
that uses its own frosting as ammunition?
I think they mean from the game. Like that's how big it would be if it were in our world. This thing was huge. How big? It was probably like 4 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm really short, so it's hard for me to compare.
It was huge. So it was even bigger for you.
Yeah.
It was just like this massive cupcake.
Yeah.
So this cool little badass cupcake. And
I was going to walk off with it.
The Behemoths brought out their big arcade cabinets to play some of their previous work.
Yeah, the whole thing was really cool.
Yeah, it was really
Lots of good games
really
there.
great to see them. People that were not at RTX include Concept, who's working on Mighty Number 9, who just reopened they set new stretch goals in their crowdsourced fundraising for the game.
What the segue?
Yeah.
The new stretch goals are to add English and Japanese voice acting to the game.
So there's already English?
No.
Or is it all going to be text?
It's all text, I believe. And now they set another $200,000 in stretch goals, $100,000 for Japanese voice acting, and another $100,000 for English voice acting. And I believe Mighty Number 9 is still set for a 2015 debut. I'm going to double check that right now. So the Mighty Number 9 is made by a studio called Concept, which was started by Keiji Ifune, who was the guy who originally created Mega Man. And you can tell if you look at the videos for Mighty Number 9, it's definitely very Mega Man inspired.
So let me get this straight. They were shooting for $900,000 in funding. They got $3.8 million.
Yes.
And they didn't include any voice acting in that.
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure that I was clear on this.
Yep.
See, what did it include? It included more stages, Mac Linux versions, New Game Plus, a documentary, boss rush mode, PS3, 360, and Wii U versions. I want to say, did they? Oh yeah, they got next gen, so they got PS4, Xbox One, Vita, and 3DS versions. So all kinds of stuff.
Now, looking at the footage we just showed, though, it almost seems like having voice acting in that would be detrimental. It really take me out of playing that game.
Oh, you expect to see like the speech bubbles and like the text filling in?
That actually, it
almost
doesn't
intentionally
fit with the
retro.
style. Yeah.
Maybe it's an option. I bet it'll be an option where you can enable or disable.
I hope so, because
that's going to be another $200,000 on top.
No, that's cheap. You can get that on cheap. I think that's just another $25,000.
You think $100,000 is realistic for adding sound?
Voice acting. You got to hire actors.
How many?
You got to write lines.
Yeah, writers. I guess they're already writing the lines.
Program them in.
If they have like the speech bubbles, they already have to have them written, right?
Yeah, I mean they already have the dialogue, or they will have no more money to spend.
You got to rent studio time.
There you go.
Here's the downside for any of that stuff.
Computer mic, bath.
One, if you're gonna have voice acting, it needs to be all the way through. I'm trying to remember. There was a game I was playing not too long ago. Where there was sometimes voice acting and then sometimes just text. And it was the most jarring thing because you had no idea when it was going to be just text bubbles and when suddenly someone was going to start talking and continue the conversation. Really weird, really inconsistent. Wish I remember what the game that was so I could call it out properly. The internet will probably know. The internet knows everything.
I think I played this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about it. We've talked about it previously. If not on the patch, then you and I have discussed it because it was just fucking annoying. That's one thing. But the other thing is when there is voice acting in those games where they're basically narrating a speech bubble, you do this. Just get me through this. Come on.
Well, it seems like almost like if they're going to do voice acting for a game like that, like you would expect a fake gibberish language. Yeah. Kind of like in Papers, Please, where it's like, just like whatever. You just have like that noise. So it doesn't slow you down. You can skip it. You don't feel guilty.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there's so many things in that game that are probably non-human or it'd be weird. It's like, oh, you've got this character to talk, but I mean, it actually might be kind of funny if you had everybody, like that guy, the enemy fights, like going, hey, there's a guy over there, You don't really expect it to 2D side scroll really fast,
especially if they all have the same voice, like every level just becomes...
And they only have 3 lines each to rotate between.
You're right. I hadn't thought about it as being a potential negative for the game until you pointed it out. I think I agree with Ryan.
Thank you.
I think I would disable that option. Also, in other news, Borderlands. Gearbox announced the new title they're working on, which is not Borderlands.
It's not Borderlands, but Borderlands is a perfect jumping off point into that discussion, in my opinion. Because Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is not going to be on next-gen consoles because Gearbox basically said it's not worth developing for next-gen yet because there's not enough evidence of a hardware install base to be worth developing that for. I would argue that it's by far their biggest, most successful IP. So they're going to take a new IP and they're going to develop it for Xbox One and PS4. A whole new IP. For a low install base, but they're not going to put their biggest, most successful IP on there.
The new IP doesn't come out till 2016, so they're going to give the install base another 2 years on PS4 and Xbox One to catch up.
That being said, they're basically admitting that in 2 years they're going to have their flagship title that no one's going to want to buy.
Yeah, I mean,
because everyone will have moved to the new platform.
I think that's
it's going to be on the new platforms.
Well, no. You get resale on Borderlands 2 and the new pre-sequel.
What may also have been the case is it may be built on an engine that's very specifically tuned for previous gen, like 360, PS3, and they don't want to bother porting it up just to resell copies. They're not Rockstar. They're not it's not Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, well, I'm going to put it out there and say that I think that's inconsistent messaging. That it's not worth developing for yet. Oh, but we're making a whole new IP that doesn't have the kind of fan devotion that Borderlands has.
Well, I'm sure they're also working on a Borderlands 3.
I really hope so. I love Borderlands. I would love very much to play it on the new consoles because it'd be even prettier.
So yeah,
So I'm going to be a little bit shitty about it until I get my way.
I mean, there's some art styles that just don't really necessarily rely as much on newer hardware to get their message across. Borderlands is probably pretty close to one of those. I mean, you can give it more polygons, but it's not like they're going for high definition textures.
Twitter tells me that the game that I'm talking about with the inconsistent voice acting was Ni no Kuni, and they're right.
Oh, that's right. That's a fucking game.
I love that game, but that's the worst.
Yes.
It was so inconsistent. It was the worst thing ever. I'm going to agree with you that Borderlands is one of the games that would age better because it's got that more cartoony, stylized look to it. Does mean I wouldn't like to play it on the new consoles.
Even Battleborn had a very unique look to it, I thought. They did not go for a realism or a realistic look to it. It's very like cartoony.
It's funny too because the Bethesda's new free-to-play one, Battle Cry, also has that kind of stylized, little bit cartoony look going to it. I really wish they'd just like gotten together and had a discussion and been like, look, let's not be super confusing. But they didn't do that.
Battle Cry Born.
Which is not to say that the two games are going to play similarly, because I think they'll actually play very differently. But the whole sort of cartoony, stylized things with the battles, with the we're coming out later on, is just that's going to take some work.
So in their release, they said if Borderlands 2 is a shooter-looter, Battleborn is a hero shooter. So it's a combination MOBA FPS, apparently.
A hero shooter.
Yeah. So I guess like you play your hero kind of like I guess in a MOBA that just shoots.
Would it be better to call that a shooting hero rather than a hero shooter? It seems to imply you're just
running around shooting heroes, which would also be a really fun game. Did you ever play?
That's kind of sad.
Did you ever play Overlord?
Overlord. It's like almost like Dungeon Keeper, right? Only it was.
Yeah, it was kind of. I mean, honestly, the gameplay was pretty flawed.
Bad guy, right?
Yeah, I always felt like it was like Pikmin for the non-Nintendo consoles, except that you were a bad guy. You basically play the bad guy trying to kill all the heroes. It's not trying to trap the heroes coming into your dungeon, but it is very much using your minions to go through and, kill all the sheep.
So it's kind of
like... Every game has something about sheep. And, ravage the land and be the bad guy, but it's a lot of fun.
So also kind of like the new Fable game, where you play the bad guy setting all the minions, or you can play as the villain setting all the minions and the traps against the 4 heroes who come in to try to beat your dungeon. Yeah,
I felt like that didn't get quite enough attention at E3, but I love that kind of asymmetrical gameplay where you can have like Evolves with the 4v1 with the Fable. You have one person who's doing something completely different to the other people, and it's a lot of fun.
And it looks like are having their day.
Yeah, and it looks like being able to do that to set up the maze and try and stop all the heroes would be a really fun side to be on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to play that side of the game so much.
Absolutely.
That sounds so cool.
I'm not going to be able to find any heroes to play against because we're all going to be trying to be the villain.
We got one more thing to read here. I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is also brought to you by NatureBox. I'm going to say something that's going to surprise you.
Say it, Gus.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
What?
You should be snacking more. You need to be snacking more. What's wrong with you, Ryan?
I thought I was snacking at an optimal level, but I guess I was wrong.
How can you tell me to snack more? I'm going to get fat. Well, here's why.
Oh, that was my line. Sorry.
Yeah.
How can you tell me to snack more? I'm going to get fat.
Here's why. I discovered NatureBox.com. NatureBox gives you hundreds of delicious snacks. Thanks for their participation. I mean, delicious, and don't feel guilty about eating them because they're better for you. They're natural with zero trans fats, zero high fructose corn syrup. You'll even find snacks that are low sugar, non-GMO, and without gluten, and they ship for free. You know that cranky moment around 3 p.m. when you're ready to tear into anything? Just grab PB&J granola from NatureBox, or baked sweet potato fries, or sweet blueberry almonds. The sweet blueberry almonds are awesome. No more hungriness, no more crankiness. Now I'm going to make you really happy. If you try naturebox.com right now, you're going to get 50% off your first box. Go to naturebox.com/thepatch. You should be snacking, but you have to snack smarter. Stay full, stay strong. Do what we all do. Go to naturebox.com/thepatch. Get 50% off your first month's box. NatureBox.com/thepatch.
The first munch on the first month.
NatureBox.com/thepatch.
A month of munching. Speaking of which, hit me with those bruschetta pops. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we had blueberry almonds here.
I suspect that the blueberry almonds just quietly go missing anytime they come in.
Those things are not quiet. They're crunchy. There's nothing crunchy about that. One of the more disturbing stories I read this week that I passed out to talk about is
titillating.
GameStop may be seeking to get themselves involved with game development more early in the process.
I lost my titillation.
I guess as part of like the exclusive content that they curate.
Which we kind of saw something like that with, say, I think Halo 4 had exclusive armor sets for the 3 major retailers that were doing pre-orders. Like there was Best Buy,
but
GameStop.
take that, and then instead of armor sets that are mostly or purely cosmetic, say mission.
Yeah, exclusive
Like,
These
there's
levels
part of
are
the
only
game that you can
available.
only get if you buy it from GameStop, which makes you then wonder. You're gonna have platform exclusives, plus you're gonna have like platform exclusive content, like what Destiny's doing with a lot of the PlayStation stuff, that's the one that everyone's been talking about, at least, even though that's a very common practice. And then take that and add retailer exclusive on top of it. So unless you buy the PlayStation version of this game at GameStop, you're missing out on 2 to 4 missions and just like.
Or
keeps
you're going to
going.
have to pay $5 extra to get the DLC.
Well, and it's going to end up being 2 to 4 missions of just fluff. I mean, it's going to be filler, whatever it is, but it may be good filler. You never know. Yeah.
Well,
Something that goes that way.
Then the dilemma comes up: is it additive, or are they cutting things out of the game that they would include otherwise?
Cutting, like now that I can buy every game launch day on my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4, and I don't have to go to the store, I do not have a single physical copy of a game. I was in Best Buy the other day, and I walked by the gaming section. I thought, holy shit, I have not come here to buy a game in a long time.
And at what point does Microsoft get in on this with their marketplace, which is selling you these digital copies of the game? Like, when do they enter that fray?
Well, they already have. There's already platform exclusive stuff, like you were talking about with Destiny.
Well, what if there's
PlayStation
platform exclusive and marketplace exclusive?
It's going to be.
I see what you're saying.
I think it'll be a while before we see that kind of thing. Because to be honest, Microsoft always seems a little bit terrified of retailers. Because if say you're GameStop and you have, I'm just throwing this out there. This is not actually the ratio by any means, but say 50% of the game market share, and so. You don't want to piss that guy off because they could stop stocking your stuff and then you lose 50% of your sales.
Yeah, but then they lose a bunch of revenue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they could play a little more hardball.
Those people,
but
you're not
currently
eliminating
Microsoft
the demand.
doesn't play hardball.
Yeah, the demand's just going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've been really scared about it in the past. You remember when they first started selling Xbox games via the marketplace, and the prices were always way higher than they would be in stores, and that's because Microsoft was selling them at like the max recommended like MSRP, whatever it is, while the stores could sell them a lot
Slightly
lower,
less.
and that Microsoft was basically making themselves not competitive because the retailers would get too upset about that.
Well, and I don't know what the back end cost of that is either. I mean, there's a fair amount of hosting and delivery fees that would go into just a purely digital version of that game. So it could be that it's maybe price prohibitive to do that in some cases for Microsoft. So maybe they're not really looking to get into that game too aggressively. They like having just a little slice of it, not the whole pie.
They've done a lot over the last couple of years too. It's been growing this very slowly, very quietly.
Well, and the prices
very
go
unobtrusively
down as time goes on. So it's going to continue getting cheaper for them to do this as technology advances. So at a certain point, it's going to be way cheaper for them to do digital delivery if it's not already.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day. So we talked briefly there about Destiny and their platform exclusive. They, I guess, outlined their beta, which is launching this month. It launches on PlayStation platforms July 17th and the Xbox platforms July 24th. And they also outlined their numerous collector's editions.
numerous.
There's the Destiny Ghost Edition, Destiny Limited Edition, and the downloadable Destiny Digital Guardian Edition, all in addition to the regular Destiny edition.
They also started talking a little bit about their plans for DLC, which is one of the reasons I was talking about the platform exclusives, is because even their DLC is going to include some content that only goes on PlayStation. Until fall 2015.
Right?
It's timed,
Which
but when it's
gap.
up to a year timed, like it may as well be permanently exclusive. I mean, everyone thinks that the month exclusive for Call of Duty maps on Xbox is insane. Well, not insane, but they're just like, I have to wait a month. That's crazy. Now try waiting for an extra, up to an extra year to get the content on Xbox, and but the season passes cost the same, so the DLC is priced equivalently. You just don't get some stuff.
I wonder if that's going to start. I mean, this practice is becoming more and more common. I wonder if that's going to start causing some consumer unrest in the sense that some of these people that are going to buy these games, not just Destiny, but many platform or multi-platform games, have one or the other. It's like they're not going to go buy a PS4 just to play Destiny. So they're probably going to be kind of ticked off.
Or what if...
What's the backlash on that?
You also wonder if a lot of people are waiting for a big AAA game like Destiny before they make their console purchase. And a decision like this is influenced by the facts like, oh, well, the DLC is going to be exclusive for up to a year on a PlayStation platform. I'm going to buy that because this is the game I'm really looking forward to. I think that's the goal of these long-term exclusivity deals, is to influence that decision and get someone involved in the platform.
It absolutely is, because then you get, like, if you're the first one of your buddies to buy it and you buy it on PlayStation, you're going to want all your buddies to buy it on PlayStation as well, so that you can all play together.
It's like the South Park trilogy about the next-gen console launches. You want to get all your friends on the same page.
You made a funny face. Why'd you make a funny face?
I'm sorry, I did make a funny face because Elliot Finn on Twitter just said that Alien Isolation is getting an exclusive mission starring the original movie cast only at GameStop.
Yep.
So there's the first example of that being a terrible, terrible thing. But Sigourney Weaver is going to be in it, so that's something.
Yeah, that's
BRB
cool.
going to GameStop.
So real fast, I just want to outline the different Destiny editions here. The limited edition is packed in a steelbook case, includes a collectible folio and a batch of bonus in-game content. The Ghost Edition additionally includes a letter of introduction, a physical collection of Golden Age relics, and a light-up motion-activated ghost statue featuring voice recordings from actor Peter Dinklage.
And the Super Extra
That wizard
Limited
came
Edition,
from the moon.
Super Extra Limited Edition comes with me delivering it to your house for only $100,000.
And if you pay him an extra $5, you can cut the butt.
That's true.
All special editions
Hugs are $5.
All special editions include a copy of the game and a Destiny expansion pass, which grants access to 2 expansions planned for future releases. Then the expansions can be purchased separately as a $34.99 bundle or each for $19.99.
So they're bundling in the season pass essentially with the...
Yes.
Okay.
Which is a $35 value.
That's a clever idea.
Yeah. It seems like you really get... Essentially, you're getting like $35 of credit back for your purchase.
Speaking of credit, did you guys hear about that some people on Xbox 360, not everyone, and we don't know what the conditions are yet, but some people, when they turn their Xbox 360 on and log into Xbox Live, they're getting promotional offers of like a $75 promo credit if they buy an Xbox One.
I saw that, but no one can figure out how they're selecting these people.
Yeah, it's so far we do know that it's not based on gamer score, because there have been a huge range of gamer score. It's not based on Xbox Live Gold tenure, because there's people who have been on for 8+ years and haven't got it, and people who just renewed last month and got it as well. So I don't know if it's random, if they just went, let's take 10% of people and do and see how this goes.
Maybe it's a pilot program to figure out.
You want a cynical answer? I bet it's based on how much they spend on the marketplace.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that would make perfect sense. But currently, at least the conditions aren't public. But a whole bunch of people did report getting it. Here's the weird thing: is a whole bunch of Canadians reported getting the offer, but the terms and conditions say it's only available, like the term that it's only in the U.S.
Maybe there's someone working there
50 states and the District of Columbia.
Just really likes to annoy Canadians, like, hey, oh, sucks to be you.
Yeah, so it's a weird promotion, but it would be cool to say I get an Xbox and now I can immediately get a game and then some for free.
I think $75, that's an interesting number. It's like, is that a tipping point in purchasing a $400, $500 console?
Well, if you buy the Connectless $400 one, and then you get another $75
I mean, it's $325
because
essentially.
you definitely want to get a game with a console.
Yeah. It's like 20% off essentially.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good deal.
A decent little knock to the price.
It's just weird that it's so limited. Like, why wouldn't you give that?
We go bankrupt if they gave it all out.
Maybe. Yeah. I know.
That's why, maybe I think your answer makes sense. The people who spend the most on marketplace can.
They want to reward the people
that
will, one, probably take advantage of it and buy it, and two, will just feed that money right back into the system. Yeah. But hey, that's complete speculation.
Speculation.
Yes.
All right. Patch viewers, if you have got it, the offer, let us know if you spend a whole bunch of money on Xbox Live Marketplace, and maybe that'll help us narrow this down, because I would very much like to know what the conditions are.
Hashtag Ryan was right. No hashtags. Fuck those things.
You're not a hashtag fan? Did you see the... Oh, sorry, were we going to talk about something?
I was going to talk about a game.
You look pumped for it, too. Like,
we're just because we're getting close to the end, and this game came out last week.
Look.
And Ryan's going to like to talk about this game because he knows about everything on PC.
I know things.
Do you remember Divinity Original Sin?
No.
So this is a game that got kickstarted last year.
Okay.
And it's like a turn-based tactical RPG.
Why do I not know about this game? It sounds right up my alley.
That just released on Steam.
Okay.
And so you have two characters. You have like a team, and you can decide which classes they are and all that sort of stuff. Is really cool. I was playing it before this, and I just started playing, and I pretty much just spent like my entire time allotment making the characters pretty.
This looks like the kind of game
really
that's
cool.
right, perfect for me.
Yeah, it's great. It's like a sort of like point and click. You drag the mouse, and you'll start. Your guys will sort of go in that direction, attacking. It's got all the looting and that sort of stuff. It's
Very sort of
3D
Diablo-esque.
isometric view, really cool. It came out on Steam, I think it was last week, and it's funny. I disregarded it initially just because of the name. For whatever reason, the name made me think of. Do you remember there was the game that came out in like 2000 where you were like a cherub killing like all these
yeah.
and it was this terrible game. It was super gory where you play as this cherub who's bringing wrath to all the evil doers.
There's a game where you're Murder Cupid?
Yeah, Murder Cupid. That made
Like diaper and everything?
yeah,
Yeah.
you straight up had the diaper. It was weird, and it was honestly kind of a shitty game.
How have I never heard of this?
And so, for whatever reason, that image stuck in my head and got attached to the word Divinity. And so I just saw the name of this game and went, nah, not really interested. And then I watched a trailer without knowing what the name of it was and thought, this game looks amazing. And then figured out, oh, it's Divinity. I did the same thing with BioShock back in the day.
Messiah is the name. Was the name
Messiah,
of that
there we
game.
go. That's
I gotta
why.
go look up Messiah.
It's
So it's interesting to me that you're talking about like turn-based games in BioShock, because the next thing I wanted to talk about was Ken Levine talking about his pet project that never got off the ground, which was a turn-based tactical Vita interpretation of BioShock set in pre-fall Rapture.
Can I just say that I wish that man would have just zipped his lips, because if I didn't know that was a project they might have been working on, then I wouldn't be as upset as I am that it's not real.
Is that really a title that you would have wanted?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a title
love the
I would have
BioShock.
wanted.
I love the BioShock universe. I think it's really great. Occasionally super confusing, but really cool. I love tactical turn-based games. That would have been the perfect way to bring that franchise to a handheld.
But it's Vita.
Yeah, but after it went on Vita, it could possibly go on 3DS. You know.
Has anything ever gone that route?
Or it could end up it could end up on the PSN store
That's a road
later on.
untraveled, my friend.
Did you hear his reasoning?
No.
It's going to make you even more sad.
Let's hear it.
Okay, now this is a quote. 2K and Sony couldn't put a deal together last time I checked, Levine tweeted. They seemed way more optimistic about this back in 2011. Wish I could do it myself, but lawyers and that. I still love my Vita. Essentially, it seems like it boiled down to a lack of agreement on terms.
Lawyers suck, right? Man.
It's not like a technical limitation. It's not like, oh, we couldn't find enough people. It's literally, yeah, we couldn't come to a business agreement to do this, so we're just not going to do it.
Well, here's the thing, right? So now that he's all indie and he's like, oh, I'm going to do the small studio thing, whatever. Now he can do a spiritual successor.
Yeah, but he handed over the reins of the BioShock universe to 2K
Right, no, I
Marin.
said spiritual successor.
Right.
You know, in the same way that when Firaxis they couldn't do Civ, or was it, no, they did Alpha Centauri.
They did, yeah.
And then they couldn't do that anymore, so they're like, oh, it's Civilization now, or was it the other way around? Anyway, you can have spiritual successors, like the fact that,
but does that
Civilization
carry the
Beyond
same
Earth
weight?
is
Yeah, look at how different it is. I mean, BioShock is a spiritual successor to System Shock, which is already, I mean, yeah, I can see that, but it's not really close enough. It's not the universe you're invested in. It's not the pre-fall
spiritual
Rapture.
Inception.
Spiritual, distant third cousin twice removed?
Right, like how far away
Hey,
from
look,
the original you get.
once you get down to like third cousin, whatever, then it's cool, right?
Yeah, then it's legal.
Gross, you'll have to go there.
Either way, that's really sad. I think it's a beautiful universe, and I would like to see a lot more stuff in it. Oh my god, imagine, especially once you start shifting between dimensions or realities, that would get crazy.
That's when you switch platforms. And you have to put your Vita down, and you have to pick out, like, it's a game that like jumps around, like you somehow linked all on a back end. It's like, now the reality is you're playing on a 3DS, you have to pick up your 3DS and play it there.
That would be the biggest, smallest system seller of all time.
God, can you imagine the licensing fees for that?
I
That would
can
be
see
fucking
Ryan getting a
awesome.
headache.
Ugh.
Or like, yeah, or if in order to do that, you would have to have bought a full retail copy of the game on every platform to like truly take advantage of the multi-universe, of the multiverse. So we're pretty much at time.
No, look, loads of sand.
No, we started that 6 minutes
No,
late. You
it's
know we
perfect.
started it late.
Maybe we started late.
No, we started
ever
pretty
think
much
of
on
that?
time. So I want to thank everyone for watching. We'll be back on Monday with an episode of RT Podcast, and next Wednesday with another episode of The Patch. See you guys then.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.